宇宙の映像を一緒に体感。
続いて宮城県内の
命を守るための情報をいち早く。世界の遺跡や一度は行ってみたい絶景を一緒に旅する。コロナ禍でも番組を一緒に制作。声に出して言えないことも一緒に考える。私たちはあなたと一緒にも大切にしたい。今日も明日も公共メディア NHK。
スピードスケート、フィギュアスケート、ショートトラック、これらは異なる競技だ。だが、共にスケートという表情を滑走する仲間であり、ファミリーだ。そして、選手だけではない。競技を支える人、応援してくれる人、スケートを楽しむ人、みんなで一つの仲間、ファミリーだ。
そう、僕たちはスケートファミリーなんだ。
競技に関わらず、スケートに携わるすべての人たちが一つになる。選手が支え応援する人が純粋にスケートを楽しむ人が一つになる。それこそが日本のリンクの明るい未来を照らす。スケートファミリーという大きな中で輝かしい未来が導くのです。
そう、あなたもスケートファミリーの一員なのです。僕も
私たちはあなたと共に目指す。私たちの日本が世界で一番スケートが強く、盛んで愛されている国になること。スケート王国の日本が樹立すること。スケートパワー。
まもなく2021 NHK 杯国際フィギュアスケート競技大会女子シングルフリースケーティングの競技を開始いたします。
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the ISU Grand Prix of Figure Skating 2021 NHK Trophy. In a few minutes, we will begin the competition for women free skating.
はじめにご来場のお客様にお願い申し上げます。会場内は禁煙です。おタバコをお吸いの際は所定の喫煙所を
Welcome back to the International Skating Union's Grand Prix Series. We're here in Tokyo on the fourth of 6 events with the NHK Trophy 2021. We've seen the pairs and the ice dancers complete their competition, and we move now to the single skating, starting with the women. Russia was triumphant in both the pairs and the dance. Cannot be a Russian woman winning in this event. Sadly, Daria Usachova was forced to withdraw due to injury. And it is looking likely to be a result that will delight the home crowd, with Kaori Sakamoto leading after the short program following her brilliant performance there. Mana Kawabe eager to top the podium too. She has the triple axel that Kaori doesn't, but will get a treat with the skating skills delivered by the top-ranked Japanese women after the short program.
Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to request you to strictly observe all the
Continued and constant appreciation being vocalized from the skaters for these fans. And we were treated to some wonderful interviews by the winners of both the pairs and the dance, who couldn't express enough gratitude to the cheering crowd for what they helped them to achieve on the ice. Shortly, we will be introduced to the judges and the technical panel, who will oversee the results given here at the Yoyogi National Gymnasium.
We thank you very much for your cooperation.
競技に先立ちまして審判団および技術役員をご紹介いたします。
Prior to the competition, let us introduce to you the officials of this event. Representing the International Skating Union, please welcome the ISU representative, Mr. Benoit Lavoie.
Benoit Lavoie、国際スケート連盟理事。
Also representing the ISU, please welcome
Referee,
the referee, Mr. Samuel Oksher.
Ichiban Judge,
Judge number 1, Ms. Janice Hunter, Canada.
Canada. 2番ジャッジ、
Judge number 2, Ms. Katarina Henriksen, Sweden.
スウェーデン。3番ジャッジ、
Judge number 3, Ms. Adrienne Schallenbauer, Austria.
オーストリア。4番ジャッジ、
Judge number 4, Ms. Deborah Curry, USA.
アメリカ。5番ジャッジ、
Judge number 5, Mr. Peter Folt, Germany.
ドイツ。6番ジャッジ、
Judge number 6, Ms. Olga Kozhemyakina, Russia.
ロシア。7番ジャッジ、
Judge number 7, Ms. Yonggyong Han, the Republic of Korea.
韓国。8番ジャッジ、
Judge number 8, Ms. Pernilla Buling, Finland.
フィンランド。 9番ジャッジ
Judge number 9, Ms. Ayako Shimode, Japan.
技術役員
The technical panel.
テクニカルコントローラー
The technical controller, Ms. Leena Laksonen.
テクニカルスペシャリスト
The technical specialist, Ms. Ikuko Ishikawa.
アシスタントテクニカルスペシャリスト
The assistant technical specialist, Mr. Jason Peace.
Nine judges from 9 skating nations, spectating 9 skaters from 4 different skating nations.
リンクにお入りください
The skaters in Group 1 will take the ice.
As Japan's Rino Matsuike reminds Amber Glenn that it's time to take off her face mask.
第1グループの選手を滑走順にご紹介いたします
From the Republic of Korea,
ソヨン・ウィさん
from Germany,
ニコル・ショットさん
from Japan,
松池里乃さん
from USA.
アンバー・グレンさん
Skaters, please start your 6-minute warm-up.
So just over a point separates 8th and 9th place skaters.
ただいま
And then
大型スクリーンにおきまして
Tiny fraction of a point between Rino and Amber
On the screen,
in
you
6th
will
and
see the
7th
skaters
place.
in Group 1 in the order of skating.
Amber, I'm sure, will be a little disappointed to find herself outside the top group. She'll be trying to close the gap between her and Lim Yoon-soo, who is again less than a point above her in 5th place.
韓国今大会がグランプリシリーズデビューの16歳2018年の韓国ジュニアチャンピオンで2019年のジュニアグ
The
ランプリ
first
シリー
of
ズフランス
3
大会では
Korean
2位に入り
skaters competing here, Wi Seoyeong.
2020年には世界ジュニア選手権にも
She
出場
had
し6位という成
Frustrating
績を
fall in
収め
her
ました
triple-triple combination in the
ソヨン
short program.
ウィさん
But looking strong with the double axel Euler,
ニ
triple
コル・ショッ
Sako.
トさんドイツ国内選手権4度の優勝経験を持つドイツの第一人者です2014年シーズン
The only
に
skater in the event not to
2018年の
include
ピョンチャンオリンピックに
triple
も出場しま
lutz.
したグランプリシリーズは2017年から参戦していますが NHK 杯は今回が
Strong
初出場です
veteran as
ニ
she
コル・ショットさん
gains approval from coach Michael Huth ringside.
3番松池里乃さん日本昨シーズンは全日本ジュニア選手権を初制覇しその翌週に行われ
And
た
the first
NHK
of
杯
the
で
3
ジュニアからの
Japanese
出場
women
ながら
competing
3位
here.
全日本選手権でも4位と大躍進を遂げました
She struggled with
今シーズン
injury
から
this
本格的
season,
にシニアに移行し
but
全日本の
skated
予選となる
strongly
中
in
部
the
選
short
手権で
program.
優勝しています松池里乃さん4番アンバー・グレンさんアメリカ
The last to skate in this group, she attempted the triple axel in the short program. Unsuccessful with that element then. She'll be looking for another solid free skate performance like she delivered in Las Vegas at the first Grand Prix Skate America. All of the first 3 Grand Prix events have been won by Russian women, and indeed Russian women who hail from the Sambo 70 ice rink. But that cannot happen here. Both of the Russian entrants forced to withdraw. Originally, Alexandra Trusova, winner of the first Grand Prix, she's had to withdraw with a foot injury, which we don't yet know how that will curtail her season. Obviously, she will no longer be able to consider contention in the Grand Prix final because of that injury, ruling her out of a second Grand Prix assignment. And then, extremely sadly, we saw Daria Usichova forced to withdraw yesterday, having got to the warm-up, and then a fall in the double flip. Again, unsure exactly the extent of the damage to her injury, but we sincerely hope that we'll see Daria compete again this season. A little bit of tension for the women on the ice at the moment. Some popped triple jumps turning into doubles and singles. They've been treated to some brilliant performances already. But I think these last two events are where the crowd is likely to get most excited. Japan has such a rich history and tradition of successful single skaters. And indeed, this revelation in the technical abilities of women's skating with triple axels and quads becoming abundant all stems back to Midori Ito from Japan, who was the first to land the triple axel back in the late 80s.
練習時間あと1分です。
1 minute remaining in the warm-up.
And more recently, Japan's had success in the women's field with Mao Asada, 3-time world champion herself and Olympic silver medalist, and she has been the inspiration to some of these youngsters. We've heard of other incredible skates happening over in Europe. The Ice Challenge in Graz, Austria, Wakaba Higuchi skating phenomenally well there this weekend, scoring a big 78, which would have won the short program here at Tokyo. We'll get to see Wakaba compete next week at the International de France. And the next stop of the Grand Prix series, the 5th of 6 events.
練習時間終了です。選手の皆さんはリンクサイドにお上がりください。
The warm-up is over. Skaters, please leave the ice. Thank you.
Now it's the job of the coaches to either keep calm or motivate the skater following whatever's happened in warm-up to produce their best possible skate when it counts.
1番、ソヨン・ウィさん、韓国。
Number 1, representing the Republic of Korea, Seoyeong Wi.
Wi Seoyeong had that fall on the triple lutz, triple toe in the short program, which is one of the reasons she finds herself 9th of the 9. She will start with that element in her free skate. Sadly down on the opening jump, the triple lutz. Better with triple loop, double toe. Landing flip on the music change. Great length and ice coverage to the double axel Euler triple salto. Just a little short of rotation on the triple. Two footing, the landing of the triple is better than the opener. Well, major respect to Wi Seoyeong, having fallen on her opening triple lutz. She came back attacking every one of the remaining 11 elements in the program. It would have been so easy to give in. I'm sure she's felt somewhat despondent to be in last place after the short. And yet she exemplifies what we can expect to see in these women. Steely determination and full of grit. She hasn't had masses of experience. This her first senior Grand Prix. And as she touches her knee, just wondering if there's been any injury leading up to the event. We have sadly been riddled with injury this season. The Japanese fans will be most notable of the withdrawal of Rika Kihira, one of Japan's strongest women, who has been sidelined with injury this season as well. Look at the edge on takeoff. She got such a deep outside edge, but just didn't get the elevation necessary to complete rotation and land the back out on the back outside here. Loop was second element. Much better with the armor loft on the double toe as well. We did finish as high 6th in World Juniors, and that's when she scored 127.85 in her free skate there. Here the Sako, just see how the blade lands on the ice and continues to rotate after the toe pick has touched the ice. The strength and depth in the junior ranks for the women is intense. And the top 10 at Junior Worlds could often compete with the seniors. We'll get to see the top 6 juniors at the Junior Grand Prix final as well. And I'm sure scores will be compatible for them as with the seniors.
The scores, please.
ウィさんの得点 112.31、総合得点 170.54。
The total score for Seoyeong Wi is 170.54.
2番ニコル・ショットさん、ドイツ。
Number 2, representing Germany, Nicole Schott.
We move now to the only European skater in this event in the women. Nicole Schott from Germany. Triple flip to start. Doubling out on the intended triple-triple, both toe loops. Quality on the loop, both with the transition and the air position. Back-to-back salchos, both in combination. It's okay. This is the reaction, I think, for Nicole Schott. She's come from Torino last week, traveling across the globe to be here in Tokyo, skating in her second Grand Prix event. Similar kind of PDF she will receive here as to that which she had in Torino. The obvious challenge for Nicole is just keeping up technically with the competitive advancements we're seeing in the women's field. 4 of her jumping passes, 2 double axels and 2 triple salchows, much easier than that which we will see competed by others. This was the triple toe, which was intended to be backed up with another. Didn't feel she had the speed or flow to guarantee a second triple. Whilst the technical content is of lower value, it's nice to see big airy jumps. And the jumps that she does are of good quality, as you would expect from coach Michael Huth, who has been rinkside for so many of Europe's best skaters over the last couple of decades. Nicole competed in Pyeongchang. She was 18th in the Winter Olympics there. And it's fascinating to think back and recognize how much the women's discipline has transformed in this Olympic cycle. Alina Zagitova, Olympic champion, reigning Olympic champion, with Evgenia Medvedeva second at that event, and triples were what they needed to secure their rostrum places. But now I cannot imagine that medals will be given to skaters in the women's discipline in Beijing that don't have a triple axel or a quad. Such is the improvement that we've seen technically on the circuit.
113.11、今シーズンの自己最高得点を更新しました。
This is her season's best score.
総合得点172.37、現在の順位は第1位です。
The total score for Nicole Schott is 172.
5 points higher than last week in Italy for Nicole.
Matsuike Rino-san, Nippon.
Number 3, representing Japan, Rino Matsuike.
The first skater representing the home nation, Rino Matsuike. She came into this event suffering with an injury, and with that in mind, she won't be attempting the triple axel which she used earlier in domestic events. Warming up with an effortlessly easy looking double axel. Good length and ice coverage, the triple lutz, triple toe, double toe combination. Great running edges for Rino on the landings. Silky smooth, deep knee bend on that back outside edge following the triple loop. double three turn separates the second triplets with a double toe. And Bales was going for triple salchow, triple toe. Short of rotation there on that flip. Last three elements needs to work the program component scores now. Good position and rotational speed in the final two spins for the young Japanese skater, Rino Matsuike. She's just 17 years of age. She did compete at the NHK Trophy last year, but that not open to international competitors. This a huge stage for the young Japanese skater from Nagoya, and she has conducted herself superbly. A complete contrast to the playful music she used in this short program, as she's greeted by Mahoko Higuchi. And this opening lutz, she managed to put that in combination with a good triple toe and double toe. In the short program, technical panel deemed her triple lutz to be under-rotated. Be interesting to see how they review both lutzes that she performed here in the free skate. Also interesting to acknowledge that Mahoko Higuchi is listed as her coach, one of her coaches, but also choreographer as well. And I think she's done a brilliant job. There were some great musical reference points, and obviously a lot of time, energy has gone into the choreographer of the program. Interesting to see coach and choreographer. So often now the skaters enlist separate choreographer to coach. But Mahoko Higuchi, obviously a very intelligent lady, capable of delivering both good technical information and choreographic pursuit. Rino said she was really nervous and more worried than excited before starting the short program, but when the music started, she enjoyed and felt the audience connection. And as with all the skaters, separated from their coach, which must be hard for both skater and coach as they seek to analyze what's just happened. As I say, 9 judges from 9 different skating nations, but following withdrawals, only 4 different nationalities here competing in the women's event. And Rino, one of 3 Japanese skaters.
122.83 総合得点 186.17 現在の順位は第1位です。
The total score for Rino Matsuike is 186.17, which brings her currently in first place.
The first of 2 American women competing here, as her parents and coaches
Representing USA,
encourage her onto the ice. Amber Glenn from America. Much better than, I think, all that she did in warm-up, opening with triple flip, triple toe. Just the double axel today, big quality element. Little off axis on the flip, forcing her to put the foot down. Just double lutz. Strong triple loop double toe in the second half of the program. And another. Fatiguing as she nears the end of the program, stepping out of that double axel. Looks like she's nursing some sort of injury as well for Amber Glenn from America. The free skate she delivered in Skate America didn't have one single negative grade of execution for any of the 12 elements, but perhaps there's a leg injury that is the reason behind some of the mistakes here in Tokyo. And interesting, the judges in the short program, big variation in the components across the 9 judges for Amber. A point difference in the scores given across the panel in each of the 5 different component scores. Not quite sure how they assess Amber, it seems, but I think the potential is massive there. You can see a lot of pre-rotation on the ice, jumping from forwards there on that flip. But she has some brilliant aspects to her skating, and I'm still so impressed by the exhibition performance she offered at Skate America. Her transitional content, brilliant, as seen in aspects of the program here. And her emotional interpretation on that performance, superb. But as we saw with Nicole Schott, and as we've discussed, and will continue to discuss this year, the women's discipline now requires so much technical proficiency as well, and the women have to really lay it down with the technical content vis-a-vis the number of triple triples and triple axels. We know Amber can land triple axel, but I'd like to not to do it today. She scored her personal best internationally of 133.45 in Las Vegas. It's not going to be anywhere near that, unfortunately, today.
Hey, everyone in the list. Thank you for supporting me.
The score, please.
Love you.
グレンさんの得点 112.40 総合得点 175.83 現在の順位は第2位です。
So we wish Amber well, safe recovery, quick, speedy recovery from the leg injury that she may be nursing, and happy training as she moves towards more internationals and the American Championships in January. So the young Japanese skater leads the field by 11 points as we move towards the last group. And it's likely to be Japan at the end of the day, also with first and second place after the short program being taken by Mana Kawabe and Kaori Sakamoto, who you see on your screen now.
The skaters in Group 2 will take the ice. From the Republic of Korea, from USA, from the Republic of Korea, from Japan,
Kawabe,
from Japan,
Sakamoto, Kaori-san.
skaters, please start your 6-minute warm-up.
So 3 of the 5 women in this group likely to be attempting and hopefully nailing some big triple axel jumps. But the leader, Kaori Sakamoto, will rely upon the quality of her other elements without triple axel to try and stay victorious after the 4-minute free skate that all the women must perform.
5番、ウンスー・イムさん、韓国。2017年に13歳で韓国チャンピオンになり、
finds herself in the top group without a triple-triple from the short program. She'll need that if she wishes to advance towards the podium. She has had podium places at Grand Prix before. She was 3rd in the Rostelecom Cup in Moscow 2018.
6番、アリサ・リュウさん、アメリカ。
Alyssa Liu started her season so well, winning that Olympic qualifier event in Oberstdorf. And she'll be the first to attempt the triple axel. She went for it in the short program, just a little under-rotated and fell. Another skater who attempted triple axel in the short program but suffering the same fate as Alyssa Liu. So both ladies can be successful here in the free skate. See, 2 triple triples planned and the double axel triple toe program packed full of content. And the surprise package after disappointment in her first Grand Prix event, Mana Kawabe skating superbly in the short program. And only 1 negative grade of execution. And the 63 on offer that she had in the short. But no negative grades of execution were awarded to Kaori Sakamoto with her short program, and her skating skills component score yesterday deemed an average 9 out of 10 from the judges, which is a relatively huge gap separating her from the others. And just fascinating to see an event without a Russian starlet within it in the women's field. Trusova won Skate America from Sambo 70. There's Alyssa Liu with triple axel, just a little short rotation, put on her feet. Kamila Varieva is now a world record holder in the free skate. She triumphant in Skate Canada. And then world champion Sherbakova last week, nailing her quad flip. So Rush have dominated the Grand Prix series in the women's field so far. And it's a real opportunity for some of these women to get some big points. They could potentially secure their place at the Grand Prix final. And the Grand Prix final just hosting another opportunity to compete in this very special Olympic year. Such good quality for triple flip, triple toe there from Kaori. As I mentioned, we're seeing Challenger Series events happening elsewhere around the world. And Japanese skater Wakaba Higuchi has just delivered a wondrous short program in Austria with a triple axel there and a score of 78. Making that Japanese Olympic team will not be easy, nor will it be easy for those who have to make that decision.
1 minute remaining in the warm-up.
Looking good from the women in this group. Youngyu with a triple axel. As Mana Kawabe sets hers up. Whoa, nice. And that's a knowledgeable audience that recognizes the significance of that element here. Another one from Yu Yang. And interesting to consider, how will Kaori Sakamoto approach this free skate, knowing that she doesn't have the big high playing jumps. Will that motivate her to give even more wondrous speed and flow over the ice to get points in other ways on the component score, the second mark?
Number 5, representing the Republic of Korea, Yoon-soo Lim.
The first of 2 Koreans in this group. Former world top 10 competitor, Lim Yoon-soo. Opens with triple lutz. Oh, going in for triple flip. Bailing. She's now going to have to readjust the program content to fit that element in. Big triple loop. Triple lutz, double axel, changing things around, thinking on her feet. There, the 3-jump combo and a triple flip finally, triple flip, double toe, double loop. Turning out of the triple salchow. Fascinated to consider where she'll put that next jump element. And that is a reaction to a slip on the tap into the 3 turn for the flip. So she only has 11 elements for the technical panel to review, not the 12, which was intended. And particularly frustrating because it was an intended triple flip double axel sequence, a big value element that she misses out on. I wasn't sure if she was going to then squeak in maybe another double axel. Oh no, she'd done 2 double axels by that point, so it would have had to have been another triple. And she just mustn't have felt she had the speed or transitional prep and time to get another triple in. What a shame. Because otherwise, a good skate from Lim Yoon-soo. She has such elegance across the ice, skating to east of Eden, which I think is synonymous with Michelle Kwan, the multiple world champion from the States, who used it so gloriously as a short program and as an exhibition for many seasons. Slow-mo is really showing the rotation on takeoff for the athletes. So it's triple lutz double axel that she elected to do later. And then that flip, I think we'll get a Q sign on it. If the technical panel consider short of rotation by a quarter, and the judges will have to drop the grade of execution as a result. When she competed last week in Torino, she fell on the opening triple lutz triple toe. She didn't have any falls here, but she will be kicking herself with some of the implications of that missed flip. And I'm sure that is the thought racing through her mind there as she finished the program. Still, we appreciate the elegance and the class. And we look forward to seeing Lim Yoon-soo battle it out for one of the 2 places available for Korean women at Beijing. The judges having to consider how to cope with the 11 elements instead of the 12 as they factor in their grades of execution. The International Skating Union always so impeccably well timed. Judges forced to input their scores within 2 minutes of the performance so that the event can stay on time, but they weren't prepared for this, it appears. And the wonderfully smiley Alyssa Liu waits to take her turn. She has beamed throughout the whole event. She brings a joyous exuberance to the ice. And there are a plethora of fans here appreciating this top group of skaters, made all the more exciting by the increased chance of it being a Japanese winner here at the NHK Trophy. That's nice, right back outside edge. Here, look how the blade rotates on takeoff, something that we see more and more with the current style of jumping. If you're looking for supreme quality of triple lutz, then Hungary's Julia Sebastian former European champion, has one of the best that we've ever seen back in the early 2000s. And it is an interesting observation in the change of jump technique and jump style. If you think back to the likes of Tonya Harding, the famed American skater whose triple lutz soared back in the early 90s. Now skaters electing to do a relatively smaller jump to facilitate the triple-triple combinations. It's often easier to get a triple on the back of a jump, and it's a little lower and longer rather than the monstrously big triple lutz that we saw from the likes of Victoria Volchkova, a Russian star skater again in the early 2000s, who had a cracking triple lutz in the day. And now we can expect to see quad lutz happening. Trusova, the winner of the Skate America Grand Prix, she's landed quad lutz, as have others. Quad flip being done last week by the world champion Shebrakova.
Im さんの得点 121.45 今シーズンの自己最高得点を更新しました。
And this is her season's best score.
総合得点 186.68
So season's best, which raises her eyebrows, possibly wondering what it could have been for Lim Yoon-soo from Korea, as she narrowly takes over Rino Matsuike from Japan.
6番アリサ・リュウさんアメリカ
Number 6, representing USA, Alisa Liu.
The youngster from the States in her breakthrough senior season. So much success and acclaim in the junior ranks. And now just having to compose herself after the delay, starting her performance. Well done, Alyssa. Stays on her feet for the triple axel. An easy triple salto. Transitioning out of the loop with a back counter and the cat spiral program created for high grades of execution. Strong start for Alyssa Liu, double axel triple toe. Bravo, triple lutz, Euler, triple flip, late in the program, reserving technical difficulty for later. Another lutz. All the jumps successful for Alyssa. Last 3 elements. And a brilliant bailment to finish. Fantastic skate from the 2-time American champion, Alyssa Liu. Fascinating tale. We've had to wait a long time to see her on the senior circuit. As a junior, she was one of the first to showcase these technical advancements when she was landing quadruple lutzes and triple axels. But the International Skating Union dictate that the women must be at least 15 years of age to enter into the senior ranks. And she'd struggled with some growth spurts, and she's obviously worked incredibly hard to come back competitive now with a triple axel as Jeremy Abbott greets her off the ice. Jeremy Abbott, he a Grand Prix final champion there. That triple axel wasn't fully rotated. We'll see that here as the blade touches down. Not far off. Might just get a Q sign from the tech panel rather than an under rotation, which has a lesser negative impact on the score. And here, climbing up into the double axel triple toe. A few questions on the rotation for some of the other elements, but an all-rounded package now. And improvements definitely made since she was a junior in regards to the component scores, with better interpretation, transitions, and performance capability for sure. She was unbeatable in the early stages of the season, bursting out onto the senior ranks as soon as she could with a win at Cranberry Cup, a win at the Lombardia Trophy, a win at the Nebelhorn Trophy. And she scored a massive 144.93 there in Bergamo. But problems at Skate Canada have been rectified here. And that's going to make it hard for Yu Young ahead of her.
Hopefully the scores come sooner than the I was like, there's no way that
Yesterday you were shorter, today you were so much longer.
Just acknowledging the long wait she had to.
I had to wait longer today. I didn't really wait yesterday.
Yesterday you got the whole short program you missed. I mean today
Yeah.
you got the whole short program you missed yesterday.
When they finally called my name, I was like, I could have been over. I could have done my long already. I was like, it's okay. It's fine.
The scores, please.
Great to hear her reaction to what happened before her, and all the more credit to her for coping with the delay.
Liu さんの得点 135.18 総合得点 202.90
So the rotation calls will be what's dropped that score down a little bit. She's conducted herself incredibly well. She looks like the forerunning American female skater this season so far.
7番、ヨン・ユウさん、韓国。
Number 7, representing the Republic of Korea, Seoyeong Wi.
So Yu Young from Korea, she had a similar mistake to Alyssa in the short program regarding that big triple axel jump. But just like the American, she will start with that element here. Shame. Down on the triple axel, just like the short program. Recovers well with triple lutz, triple toe. Outside spread eagle into the triple loop. And double axel. The second triple lutz combination, that time Lutz Euler triple salto. Another big combination, double axel, triple toe. And the last jump, triple flip. And dynamic finish with the I-spin variation to close the program. And you can see the reaction is surely down to the fall on the triple axel. But despite that mistake, Some big money elements successfully done. 2 big triple lutz combinations, the double axel combo with the triple toe. But her skate at Skate America had the axle included, and I'm sure when the first element hasn't gone to plan, it's hard to stay as buoyant. And you could see some semblance of that in her interpretation of the program as Mia Hamada greets her. In and out of expression a little bit as she computed what was necessary on the technical element score. You can't really blame her given how valuable these elements are for the overall result. This the axle. Foot not necessarily fully rotated, but body a little bit over rotated. There's that. Forwards take off on the lutz. At least a quarter short on the rotation of that triple toe. So the score may drop as rotation calls are added, but that looked good. The lutz with the salco that time. And moments of brilliance. The choreography sequence was greeted by a change in the Les Mis music choice. And I also thought the step sequence, the 5th element of the program, really well constructed musically. So the work has been done, the content is there. And let's see if Yu Young can stay in contention for a Grand Prix final slot. It's going to be very difficult now. And she finds herself in the kiss and cry alone because she shares coaches with Mana Kawabe, who's next to skate. Oh, that's brilliant. Perhaps a belated apology for her late mask wearing. So she leads, guaranteeing her 2nd medal on the Grand Prix circuit this series. Yu Young from Korea.
Kawabe Mana-san, Nippon.
Number 8, representing Japan, Mana Kawabe.
And this young woman really was the surprise package in this short program because she'd had such a torrid time in Vancouver a couple of weeks before. Only posted 53.3 in the short in Canada, but 20 points higher here. Let's hope for another brilliant skate for Mana Kawabe from Japan. What a shame. Opened up partway through, not committed to the triple axel that time, like the short. Well done. Triple lutz, triple toe. Glorious posture through that difficult inside spread eagle and a big curve. Great recovery from that opening triple axel. Both the loop and loops looking good. Great stuff. Double axel, triple toe, double toe. Maintaining speed through the change of edge and the sit spin variation. This is a clean rotation on that triple flip. Sako rounds out the jumps. She takes the Enid bar on music for the choreography sequence. What a treat. Mana Kawabe from Japan. A really beautiful young skater. Gorgeous posture. Mindful extension in her movement. And a real class act. Just such a shame about the axel. And interestingly, in interviews after the short program, she suggested she had to be careful because when good in a short, she said she messes up the free skate, and I wonder if she'd created that in her own mind's eye, entering into that opening axel. Mia Hamada there from the Kanoshita Academy where they train. Here it is, you can see she actually scratched on the back edge. She was hesitant going in and just mentally, I think, not in the place to commit to that opening axel. But turned it around brilliantly with every other element looking strong. Here, double axel, check for rotation. I think that'd be okay. I love to see the coach's joy. And she replaces Rika Kihira here. It's just hard to imagine that she was only scoring 53 in the short in Canada, because this young lady really has the potential. She has the potential, like so many, to be on the Japanese Olympic team, a coveted berth on that team. But the chances to show consistency are dwindling a little bit. But I think she's done enough to impress the Japanese Federation with that performance. Just remains to be seen whether or not that'll be enough to stay on the podium. Alyssa Liu posted a score of 135.18. Yu Young 135.52. But she came in with a lead.
The score, please.
Kawabe's short program score of 73.88 may give her enough of a cushion.
Kawabe さんの得点 131.56 総合得点 205.44
So third on the free skate. But that's the reaction to a silver medal, at least, for Amana Kawabe. Well done to her and her team.
Cuba, Sakamoto Kaori-san, Nippon.
Number 9, representing Japan, Kaori Sakamoto.
Now, undoubtedly the most experienced with high pressure situations of all 9 competitors in the NHK Trophy. She's twice been in the world's top 6, 6 at the Olympic Games, and she leads after the short program. Kaori Sakamoto from Japan.
I love being a woman. I love the tenderness, the sensitivity, the uniqueness of what it really means.
I gave up everything. I raised children. I swam against the stream. I walked every mountains. What is it I want from me? Is it my soul? Is it my body? What is it?
Little off axis. Comfortably landed for the triple lutz. Judges will reward the incredible length, flow and glide through these triples. That the Salco.
Strong, fierce, independent, proud,
wonderful speed coming out of the triple flip, triple toe into the transition.
strong-hearted, strong-souled, and strong-bodied. Strength and beauty must go together. I am a woman.
And a clean skate again for Kaori Sakamoto. She was brilliant in Skate America in the free, and clean again, rising to the pressure of being favourite, rising to the pressure of being what everybody here in the Seoyeong Wi National Gymnasium wanted to see. And I think she's done enough comfortably to win her second NHK trophy title. She won it last year in Osaka. And that could potentially just be enough to maybe clinch a Grand Prix final place. Fourth in America makes that a little tricky, but she'll get 15 points for the win here. Some mesmeric flow and glide on some of those jump elements. For me, not the performance that she offered at Skate America. There was some debate online as to whether or not she was a little hard done to at that event. I think she was a little more reserved in her emotional output and commitment here, but got the job done. And here, Axel to start, and that too a little tighter than sometimes. She's often got +5 grade of execution on her double axel, and the criteria for that are good height and good length, very good height and good length, good takeoff and landing, effortless throughout, steps before the jump or an unexpected or creative entry. All these bullet points to be considered by the judges. So much for the judges to consider when they input the GOEs into the computer screen. And she said training time had been diminished. And she had some quarantine after coming back from America, so hasn't had opportunity to train as much as she would have liked. So total respect to her for her managing the stamina for that free skate. And there's the smile that so many fans around the world have grown to love. Such a likable character on the circuit.
The scores, please.
She had a 144 at Skate America.
Sakamoto-sanの得点 146.78 今シーズンの自己最高得点を更新しました
Pushing that up a little bit for a 146 here at the NHK Trophy and securing her win. And that's the emotion and expression that she's been holding back to nail those elements in the free skate.
She is the champion.
She is the champion, and the emotion she will release now will surely be because she knows that this result will help her in the Japanese Skating Federation's decision for which 3 women to send to Beijing. Tears flowing, and we can understand why.
Coming up on the interview with the winner at the Kiss and Cry.
So shortly we will hear from the champion, Kaori Sakamoto, the convincing almost 20-point win in the end. A great free skate from Alyssa Liu. She's unfortunate to miss out on a podium place, just 7/10 away from Yu Young, who clings on to make that her second medal on the Grand Prix circuit this year. We've had confusion and drama with some element orders from Lim Yoon-soo, but she did skate well to stay in the top 5 at this event. She looks to be returning to form as we head towards that decision-making process for Olympic selection. So third of the 4 disciplines have been decided. Russia first in the pairs, first in the dance, but it's a Japan 1-2 in the women's event. Later, we can look forward to seeing the men take to the ice as Shoma Uno attempts to make it a Japan first in both
放送
men's
席
and
そし
women's.
て場内の皆さん NHK 杯2連覇坂本花織選手です。おめでとうございます。
ありがとうございます。
先ほど目に光るものも見られました。どんな思いですか？
この大会で、ショートとフリーをノーミスで揃えるっていうのを目標にやってきて、アメリカ大会終わってから2週間しっかり練習ができたので、それがしっかり、ちょっとずつ危ない部分もあったんですけど、この NHK 杯という舞台で大きなミスなく終えたことが一番嬉しいです。
リンクを降りた時に怖かったとおっしゃいましたけれども、どういう重圧の中で滑ってたんですか？
今日もなんですけど、相変わらず緊張がすごくて、本当にショートの時よりだいぶ緊張はしてて、最初のアクセルでちょっと傾いてしまったので、ちょっとヒヤッてしたんですけど、そこからなんとか最後まで持ちこたえれてよかったです。
そこからノーミスに切り替えられた要因というのはどのあたりだったんですか？
だいぶ後半のあたりからすごく練習通りだなっていう感覚になって、3-3がすごく綺麗に入ったので、そこからすごく波に乗れました。
オリンピックシーズンでのこの NHK 杯、この結果というのは自信につながりそうでしょうか？
アメリカ大会でそのスピンやステップのちょっとしたミスで表彰台を逃してしまったので、その悔しい思いがこの NHK 杯で優勝できて、だいぶ晴らせたかなと思います。
グランプリファイナルに向けてはもう優勝するしかないとおっしゃっていました。これでそのグランプリファイナルを大きく近づきました。その点についてはどうでしょうか？
やっぱりファイナルっていう舞台もオリンピックの選考に入ってくるので、やっぱりどの試合でも安定した演技をすることで、ちょっとずつ自分のイメージがアップできるかなと思うので、ちょっとずつですけどシーズンベストもちょっとずつ更新できて、だいぶまだまだショートにしろフリーにしろまだ伸びしろがあるので、もっともっと、シーズンベストを更新して、いいものをシーズン後半に向けてできるようにしたいなと思ってます。
どうもありがとうございました。本当におめでとうございます。
ありがとうございました。
The delightful Kaori Sakamoto. And she asked about the Grand Prix final and how she feels about qualifying for that event. We have to wait and see how the odds stack up. For many, the expectation was that the 6 places at the Grand Prix final would be taken up by a sweep of Russians, but the ever-changing landscape of women's figure skating has changed this week. And now we get to hear from the silver medalist, Mana Kawabe.
おめでとうございます。
ありがとうございます。
どんな思いですか？
すごいショートの後から、ショートが良かった分フリーでミスができないなっていう思いと、絶対やってやるぞっていう思いがあって、すごい緊張していたんですけど、この大きな舞台で2位という順位になれてすごい嬉しいです。
今日もトリプルアクセル挑戦していきました。どうでしたか？
すごいショートでいいジャンプが飛べたので、フリーも飛びたかったんですけど、やっぱり練習通りには飛べなかったので、これからもっともっと練習が必要だなと思いました。
でもその後よく立て直しました。どう切り替えたんですか？
すごいカナダ大会の時にアクセルの後から引きずってしまったことがすごい悔しかったので、失敗した後に切り替えるっていうのをずっとイメージしてやってきたので、それができたことはすごい自信にもつながったので、もっともっと練習して 今度はアクセルも決めれるように頑張ります。
改めてこの大会で掴んだもの、そしてこれからの目標を教えてください。
今大会はすごいショートが自分の自信につながったと思うので、次の全日本に向けてショートフリー揃えるっていうことをしっかりできるようにもっともっと頑張りたいです。
どうもありがとうございました。初めての表彰台おめでとうございます。
ありがとうございました。
The delightful Mana Kawabe interviewed there following her silver medal, and she, perhaps following in the footsteps of Kaori, who competed at the Olympic Games 4 years ago and looking ever likely to repeat that feat.
The ceremony will be held shortly, so stay with us.
So coming into this event, the assumption was that Alexandra Trusova would win again after her win at the Grand Prix final skate, the Grand Prix event in Skate America at the start of the Grand Prix series, but injury sidelined her. The other Sambo 70 skater, Daria Usachova, the Russian who was second at that event, also injured, but she traveled over to Tokyo only to suffer a fall within the warm-up of the short program, and now her chances of Grand Prix final qualification have gone too. So it opens up a whole lot of opportunities for other skaters to get in the mix for the Grand Prix final selection. And undoubtedly, Kaori Sakamoto's chances have massively increased with the win here in Tokyo, as have her chances of repeating as an Olympian. We'll get to see Wakaba Higuchi, the other strong Japanese skater who will compete next week at the International de France. But for now, jubilation and celebration for the medalists here in Tokyo.
2021 NHK 杯国際フィギュアスケート競技大会女子シングルの表彰式を開始いたします。
ISU Grand Prix of Figure Skating 2021 NHK Trophy Victory Ceremony Women.
第3位、ヨ・ユーさん、韓国。
Third place and the winner of the bronze medal from the Republic of Korea, Seoyeong Wi.
Repeating as medalist, following her success in the first event. And you will be delighted to have had the experience here, and she, I'm sure, will echo all the sentiments shared by those interviewed, suggesting that the audience have really made the event here for the skaters. She takes her spot, third place in the podium.
第2位、川辺愛菜さん、日本。
Second place and the winner of the silver medal from Japan, Mana Kawabe.
And the surprise silver medalist, Mana Kawabe, her interview was delightful. She obviously not used to the excitement and attention at being a Grand Prix medalist on the senior circuit.
優勝、坂本香織さん、日本。
First place and the winner of the gold medal from Japan, Kaori Sakamoto.
And a wonderful moment for Kaori Sakamoto. These athletes need to really savor the experience and the special memories, soak it all up, and win it in front of a home crowd. Just an amazing feat.
表彰者が入場いたします。
Medals will be presented by members of the International Skating Union and the NHK
メダル
trophy
は
awarded
長
to
島
Kaori.
昭久公益財団法人日本スケート連盟会長より授与されます。
The medals will be awarded by Mr. Akihisa Nagashima, President of Japan Skating Federation.
NHK 杯は小池秀夫 NHK 理事より授与されます。
The NHK trophy will be awarded by Mr. Hideo Koike, Senior Director of NHK.
花束は国際スケート連盟代表ベノア・ラボアさんより贈呈されます。
Flowers will be presented by the ISU representative, Mr. Benoit Lavoie.
これより入賞選手の栄誉をたたえ国旗を掲揚し優勝選手の国歌を演奏いたします。皆様ご起立の上国旗にご注目ください。
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the national anthem of the winner.
皆様メダリストたちにもう一度盛大な拍手をお願いいたします。
Ladies and gentlemen, how about a big hand for the medalists?
Truly special moments for the medalists.
表彰者が退場いたします。
With a surprise result, not what was anticipated and expected necessarily coming into this event, but certainly a result that the home fans and home audience would have wished for. And exciting, particularly for the bronze and silver medalists, knowing that this was not their personal best, there is more to come.
優勝選手が退場いたします。皆様盛大な拍手でお送りください。
The medal winners will now take a victory lap.
Kaori taking lead from the photographer. Chance to relish the moment, savor the applause. And be mindful of the carpet. So Kaori and Mana have given the audience just what they wanted. And we'll look ahead to see if the men can do the same. Shoma Uno leads after the men's short program by 3 points over American Vincent Zhu, the winner of the first event, the Grand Prix in Skate America. Fortunately, the women can take off their masks for the moment, the photos and the memories. Kaori, our favourite, not just here in Japan, but worldwide. She's given us so many wonderful reactions to her performances, both good and bad in the Kiss and Cry, and sometimes just as entertaining in the Kiss and Cry as she is on the ice. So huge congratulations to the medalists in the women's event. Shortly we will see medalists from the ice dance category as well, before we head towards the final competition here in Tokyo, when the men battle it out. And then we will close proceedings at the NHK Trophy 2021 with the exhibition tomorrow. It's been a brilliant day of skating so far, and even more yet to come. Join us for the last event soon.
以上をもちまして女子シングルの表彰式を終了いたします。
And this concludes the women's victory ceremony. The victory ceremony for ice dance will start shortly.
続いてアイスダンスの表彰式を行います。準備が整いますので今しばらくお待ちください。 ただいまより2021 NHK 杯
We've just seen the women receive their medals and the NHK trophy for Kaori Sakamoto. Now we can celebrate the successes of the ice dancers who competed just before them. Get the chance to celebrate the success of the reigning world champions Seoyeong and Katsalapov. But first, the British pair.
From Great Britain, Lila Fear and Lewis Gibson.
Their second medal on the Grand Prix circuit. Being successful a couple of seasons ago, and this redemption for the frustrations that they must have felt in Vancouver when they'd had some little mistakes in the free dance. And Fear and Gibson really looking like a formidable force in the next Olympic cycle following the inevitable retirals that we assume will happen after Beijing.
Madison Chock, Evan Bates組 America.
Second place, and the winners of the silver medal from USA, Madison Chock and Evan Bates.
And it's a special free dance that they've created. Chock and Bates, just commiserations for them as they had the fall. That said, despite the big mistake, just over 4 points between them and the world champions, and yet back in March there was a 9-point disparity between them. So even with mistakes, it looks like they're heading in the right direction and closing the gap between themselves and others as they take to the podium alongside their training mates Fear and Gibson.
First place, and the winners of the gold medal from Russia, Victoria Sinitsina and Nikita Katsalapov.
So the season debut for Sinitsina and Katsalapov, and they will be relieved, I am sure, to come away with the win. I'm particularly glad to see so many 10s in the component scores awarded to them by the judging panel. Judges deeming so much of what they offered virtually perfect. And the dancers particularly appreciating the audience here helped bolster their interpretation and energy commitment.
Mr. Akihisa Nagashima, President of Japan Skating Federation.
NHK 杯は小池秀夫 NHK 理事より授与されます。
The NHK trophy will be awarded by Mr. Hideo Koike, Senior Director of NHK.
「花束は国際スケート連盟代表ベノア・ラボアさんより贈呈されます。
Flowers will be presented by the ISU representative, Mr. Benoit Lavoie.
ここで優勝選手の栄誉をたたえ国旗を掲揚し優勝選手の国歌を演奏いたします。皆様ご起立の上国旗にご注目ください。
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the national anthem of the winners.
皆様メダリストたちにもう一度盛大な拍手をお願いいたします。
How about a big hand for the medal winners?
表彰者が退場いたします。
So Russian success yet again in the ice dance competition. Russia has dominated ice dance for so many years, but in the last Olympics, no Russian dance team on the podium. I'm sure Sinitsina and Katsalapov will be keen to avoid that recurring. Next week, we will see their fiercest competition, Papadakis and Cizeron, return for their second Grand Prix. They still have the highest score of the season so far, with Victoria and Nikita having their second chance on the Grand Prix in the final event, the Rostelecom Cup. But for now, celebration and then some well-earned rest. Moment, the Brits as well. So as the ice dancers enjoy the celebrations, we'll take a short break before returning for the men's free skate. There we'll get to see Japan's Shoma Uno try to defend his lead from this short program. We've had 3 fantastic events and 1 more to follow shortly.
以上をもちましてアイスダンスの表彰式を終了いたします。この後男子シングルフリースケーティングの競技は19時35分午後7時35分より開始いたします。
And this concludes the ice dance victory ceremony. The next competition, men's free skating, will start at 7:35. Thank you.